And it has started, so we will now go to Miss Emily Buff.
Oh my god. Hey. I really don't have a question. I'm a little bit wrong. But what I'm gonna ask is for you to sit here and honestly kiss my ass. Tell me why I am great and why you should receive my vote tonight. So like tell me why I'm great. And Ned, if you can add I hate to hear TPH and a rod in that, that would be great. Anyone?
I'll go first then. Emily, I guess like I'm just gonna say that like we were pretty good in the game together. I found you to be one of my closest allies, and it sucked when you went home the way that you had to go home. I think I've explained to you and to everyone else why I feel like the way that I played and the way that I played and the way that I feel like deserved to win if I were to get the votes. I think you're amazing, and I hate to hear TBH rude.
Okay, I'll go then. Emily, I think you're so funny, so entertaining. I really enjoyed getting to meet you, especially in this season, and work with you for the short time that I did. You did really good in that one immunity challenge, that Pose one. That was really good. I think that you were brought back because you are such a light and you're very funny and everything that you do, and you're also gorgeous, and I hope you and Griffin have an amazing future.
Okay, so Emily, I think you're an amazing person, and I think you played the flirt card really well. You and Griffin, hey, amazing duo, amazing couple, hey. And I think even though Grayson wasn't on your job, I think you had him wrapped around your finger really well. I think you were controlling him. You had his idol at one point, and yeah.
Thank you all so much for that. Thank you. My ego is huge.
All right. Thank you, Emily. And next we will go to Daniel Icon Brown.
That's icon to you, sir. Um, okay, so I don't have like anything prepared. I just kind of thought of these questions while listening. So I'm gonna start with Tristan. Um, Honestly, I've heard different things from different people, but I want to hear from you, and I don't want you to feel like you have to like hide anything. How loyal were you to me? And yeah.
I was obviously loyal to an extent. Obviously, pre-merge, I needed you a lot, especially as a number. You were a lot better than me socially, which I think really helped me out in a way because I knew that you would always be aware of votes and stuff, and that I hopefully wouldn't be in danger. But of course, I knew that there was gonna come a time that you were gonna have to go, especially if I was gonna be able to prove myself to other people, and want to work with other people and open other doors. So yeah, and it worked out the way it did, and I just knew, obviously, like going with your reputation from second chances, especially going to the end with you, would just not have worked. And I'm glad that you left when you did earlier enough, because I was able to still be by myself, and do and work with other people, as an independent person, and get here by myself. I feel like I really did get here by myself, but yeah.
All right. Demi, your tell me something that you did outside of like anyone else. Like maybe you kind of like talked about you and Ned had like a deal where you would talk to each other. Is there another example of that where you specifically like ventured off on your own and made a strategic move to benefit yourself? It could be on edge or in the game.
I'll do both. Like on Edge, I had Tia. She helped me out a lot. She put me high a lot, which I'm thankful for. And then I had Rod. We put each other high a lot. And Rod, I put you second. I forgot to mention that, but um, also on Edge, me and you, I feel like we were good. But at the same time, a lot of people were ranking Austin low in the final rankings. But I decided to rank Austin sixth because even though he didn't want to come back in the game, I felt like, yeah, his average was going to be bad, but putting him higher could lower other people's averages. And I think that helped me in the game. Um, I had deals. Even though I was with like the majority at some point, which was Tristan, Dejan, me, Bella, and Evan for that Griffin vote off, I made sure that I had, because coming back from the Edge, I wanted to start fresh. I told everyone that I talked with Emily Pitch, I talked with Griffin, I talked with Bella, because I would not have thought I'd be working with Bella again after that tribal. But I made sure to make those connections, and um, I think those helped me pretty well and put me in a pretty good spot so I could get information from people while still being with my side. So I kind of like, even though I might not have been close with some of the people on one side, I felt like I still got the information and I still knew where the vote was going and I knew when to play that double idol, for example. Evan, I feel like Evan did tell me to play on him, but like if I didn't believe that it was gonna be Evan, I wouldn't have played it on him. So I knew it was gonna be Evan. So yeah.
All right. Um. Okay, so Ned, when people got voted out, we obviously talked and tried to like make sense of different things. We often talked about like different votes and stuff. And after I got voted out, I was told that you said, and I quote, "At least he finally got some karma by getting idled out." So my question to you is, why do you feel the need to like what part of your strategy was it, or if it was even strategy, to kind of like pour salt in the wounds of people who've already gotten voted out? Like, I know that when I got you idled out, I didn't like bloat about it. I felt bad and then just took it as a game, where I maybe think you took it more personal and made like a vengeful decision rather than a smart decision.
Mhm. I think that I'm pretty sure that did happen. Sorry if I said that, if I hurt your feelings by saying that. I guess it was just like quite the emotional player, and I just felt like potentially maybe just trying to get you out as revenge from second chances wasn't the smartest thing on my part. But at the end of the day, I do wish that I do like you as a person, and I hopefully didn't hurt you too much by saying that comment. I'm pretty sure we like all talked about it on Discord, but I actually said it in text in the chat. So that is definitely on my bad and on my fault. I definitely did not try and pour salt into your wound at whatsoever. I just think it just came off as like I guess, a high after what happened. So yeah.
All right. Thank you all. Take it away, Drew.
All right, thank you, Daniel. And up next we have Simona.
Hi. Okay. Well, as much as I would love to be ridiculously mean, I will start by congratulating you guys on making Final Three. This was an incredibly difficult and emotionally draining season. I think everybody can agree on that. And so, yeah, I mean, even though everybody's probably not the most happy with the Final Three, you did make it there, and you should be proud of that regardless. So, Tristan, I'm going to start with you. Even though I was on the edge for a while, as far as I can see, you didn't really start playing the game until around Final 9 or Final 10. What was one move you made before that point? And how did my vote off benefit you? Because I know you were one of the votes for me.
Okay, so pre-merge, I'd have to say I started playing a little intense the first tribal council that I went to because I had socialize with everybody that was on my tribe, and had stayed up long nights trying to get to know them. And I feel like that tribal council, it was kind of hard because people thought that they knew where my vote was going, but only the people that voted out Ricky really knew that that was what I was doing. And then the reason why I voted out Ricky was because um, we had a rough relationship outside of this, and I knew how he plays from his previous seasons. He's a really strong player, and I would say it was a compliment because he is one of Reality Noted's like most biggest players. Um, so yeah, I started the game really like I'd say it was a big move. Like it was a big thing because people wanted to play it safe at first, and that's not necessarily what I wanted to do. So, how your vote benefited me, I would say, unfortunately, we didn't get to know each other that well. We did talk, and I will admit to you that it is my fault that we talked so late because by the beginning of Merge, I was so checked out of this game because I had felt so emotionally drained from the beginning of this game. We had already went through like an entire cast before we had gotten there, so it was kind of a lot. And but yeah, talking to you, I really like our conversations were genuine. Fortunately, when we got to the final 9, it's just I didn't feel comfortable moving forward and voting with people that I didn't necessarily see eye to eye with. Me and you, we kind of were going 2 different directions, and that's kind of just how it was. So.
Okay, cool. Ned, so you were so incredibly confident that you needed to use your legacy advantage at the final 13, and your reasoning for that was you were so sure that you weren't going to make it at final 6, but here now sitting at final tribal council. You really wanted to make a big move with your legacy advantage, and so you went around trying to cause chaos to get votes on yourself, where you could have kept it till final 6 and taken out a big threat later in the game, which clearly you made it to that point and that would have been possible. So do you regret using the legacy advantage, and why did you feel so passionate about using it then? And same question to Tristan. I know you didn't vote me out directly, but in a sense you did cause me to go home. So how did me leaving benefit you?
So I wanted to use my legacy advantage at Final 13 was because at that point when it was time to play it, I obviously was left out. Well, people weren't telling me the truth about the tier vote, and I just voted Rod so people could trust me. But at this point in time, I wanted to try and switch things up with my legacy and try and change the direction in the game. And I thought if I could play it and people could vote me instead of the votes that went on Dimmy, that my votes were on Dimmy. And even if Daniel played an idol, then Dejan was still going to go home. So my idea was to get the votes on me, and if people were going to vote you or Dimmy, you were going to play your idol on either one of them. And then if Daniel ended up playing his idol on himself, then Dejan was going to go by default. The thing that obviously didn't work was maybe me going too chaotic and too crazy, where they switched the votes off me onto someone else, which was Dimmy, and I could not play the legacy on someone else, so Dimmy had to go. I did only play the legacy on myself in case I was getting votes, but do I wish I played it? No, I don't regret it, because I think at the end of the day, I feel like that was the right thing to do at that time. In Final 6, it could have been come in use potentially, but also I feel like I made the right decision in my own head. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Earlier in Final Tribal Council, sorry, I was asked to follow up about this before you answer the other part of the question. You said that you didn't know Daniel was playing the idol, but just now you said
if he played the idol on himself or Bella. So like I didn't know he was playing on himself. I was hoping he'd be playing on Bella and Daniel would still go home. But if he played it on himself, then Dejan was gonna go, because hopefully that the votes that were gonna cancel out on my legacy advantage weren't gonna be Dimmy's votes, but they ended up being Dimmy, not me.
Right. And then how did me leaving benefit you?
It did not benefit me whatsoever. I think that was the one vote where I was really upset with myself. I personally, in that tribal council, I was coming into that tribal council and Justin was going. And then obviously the tribal council went really chaotic and went crazy, and the votes started flipping left, right, and center. I didn't think, Simona, you were getting majority of the votes. I thought Justin was getting majority of the votes. And when you asked me to vote Emily P, I couldn't. And I don't regret not voting her, but I do really feel bad that you went home that tribal council because you were my closest ally at the time.
Okay. I'm still sad, but it's okay. Last but not least, Demi. So a lot of people perceive that you hid behind Evan, and you've gotten a few questions about this already. What's an example of not a move that you made, but a connection that you had with somebody other than Evan that really benefited you? And how did, like, coming back from the edge, what did you have to do that was different from when you were initially on the edge? And I guess, how did my initial vote off benefit you?
Okay, so coming back from the edge, something that like I had to do to benefit me is I went and talked to everyone, and I feel like the first time around, the reason I got voted out was because I didn't talk to many people, so they thought that I wasn't gonna be with them. I wasn't voting with them. So someone that I definitely was mad at after they like blindsided me was Griffin, but I made sure to go talk to him afterwards, and I feel like I was good with Griffin, and I don't think he wanted to vote me that tribal that he went home on. And the reason I voted like beneficial for me is for your vote off was because I feel like we didn't really talk that much, and I don't think that like we don't really talk that much, and you weren't really useful for my game. You were obviously on the side with Bella, Ned, Griffin, Dejan, and I didn't really. You guys were gonna vote me the first tribal we went to, but I think I did a good job at that tribal, getting the votes off me. But the reason I voted you out because you're really beneficial for me in that point of the game. But when you came back, I feel like we had a conversation, and I feel like you were beneficial at that point for me.
Okay. Thank you. Again, good job to all of you guys, and whatever happens, you made it this far, so be proud of that at least.
All right, thank you, Simona. With that being said, we are halfway through jury questioning. 7 have went. We have 7 more to go. And up next, we have Justin.
Let me get into character. Where's my wig? Gotta bring the chain out one last time. And then just.
God, Shannon.
Okay, I want to say, I'm gonna be really rude. I'm gonna be really mean. On a personal level, I like all 3 of you guys. Anything I'm gonna say is game-wise. If you can't accept that, if this is too hard on you, then sorry. I'm gonna be honest, whether you like the truth or not. I'm saying hey to you. Anyways, so my first is for Tristan. Tristan, you're not on camera. I don't know if you're here. Maybe you're not listening, but I'm gonna talk to you first, Tristan. I do want to say Tristan. Is he here? Are you here, Tristan?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I do want to say, Tristan, it honestly is really impressive that you were able to make the end in both ZFameZ and Reality Noted. The only person who has done that, I think, is Dally. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Dally's the only other person who's been able to do that. But, I mean, you should be really proud of yourself. But I think it's even more impressive that you're also going to be the first person to lose both games back to back. That's something new. It's also really impressive that you somehow managed to play a game just as bad as you did in that season of ZFameZ. Coming back, playing just as bad, being just as invisible, being just as much as a floater, and making the final 3. That is revolutionary. And, you know, Katniss Everdeen would be very proud of you, even though you definitely play more of a mag game. We're going to go into Ned Cook. Ned, it's really ironic that your last name is Cook, yet everything you cooked, you burned. Just like you're going to burn my jury vote for you that you're not going to get. Your biggest moves were, let's see, throwing pity parties on your story. I have a list, yeah. You threw pity parties on your story. You burned bridges, burned connections. You wasted 2 advantages, and your obsession with me sent Simona, your number 1 ally, the girl who really looked out for you, home. Really weird. Let's see what else. You also talked about how your game was survival. You would have went home, 5 to what? You have majority of the votes. Jordan's auction twist was your survival. That is not your move. That is not you surviving. That is an auction reversal twist saving you. That is not your move. That is not your gameplay. Like I said, your gameplay was burning bridges, burning food, and yeah, that's simple. Anything else I have to say about you? No. You've talked enough, and it's been horrible. Everything you said has been horrible. You've been lying. I've been laughing at almost everything you say. It's honestly comical. Demi, honestly, Demi, me and you, we came in, we were like labeled as like Drew's wild cards. People kind of looked at us and were like, why are they all-stars? They got pre-jury twice. So honestly, I was hoping that me and you would both make the merge, make it far. I'm proud of you for doing that. I definitely think that we both came in and proved ourselves that we deserve to be considered all-stars. Am I like super impressed? And I'm like, oh my god, like, did you play the best? No, but you play better than Mr. Cook and Triss. So, I mean, that's, I guess, enough for me. This final 3, it's it's a little, I wish I could have voted for Jordan or Emily P or Evan. I wish this is how we were going to end the final season off. Instead, we got, 1, 2, 3. But, I'm not 100%, I'm like 99.99999% sure who I'm voting. I think we all know who I'm voting, but I'm still down to listen to more lies and weird things. Also, can we stop talking about moves that you failed in? I do not want to hear how you failed to get Sophia out. I don't want to hear how you failed to get Daniel out. Like, who cares? You couldn't do it right, so why are you talking about it? Like, are y'all... That's all I have to say. Oh, a quick question. Answer it in like 1 word. This is for Logan. What percentage do you think you have of winning this game right now? Just say the percentage out loud. 0 being you have no chance, 100 being you're winning unanimously. Demi, you're first. What percentage do you think you have of winning this game?
I'll say like 60.
Okay, Tristan?
2.
Ned?
Judging from what I'm hearing, 0.
Good answer. That's all. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Justin. Up next, we're going to go to Griffin.
All right. Hi, guys. So congrats on making it to the end. Not sure I'm going to follow that up, but I've heard about why you guys think you should win. I want to hear why you guys think you shouldn't win and why the other 2 people should win. Whoever can go first. Whoever.
I'll just get it over with. I think you should vote for Demi or Ned because this is their 3rd time playing and they've really been able to prove themselves from their first seasons, and I think they've done really well in their own ways. And I'm really glad that you guys have been hearing all of our questions and what they've had to say. So.
I'll go next. I think Tristan played a pretty good job playing socially. He played both sides, like how I see it. I think he played really good in that aspect. I think Ned played a good job surviving votes, throwing votes, and like surviving to the final 3, which good job to him. He made it this far. And yeah, I feel like making it to the final 3 is an accomplishment, and I congratulate all to those 2 for making it to the final 3.
I think you should vote Demi to win because I think he's had a really good storyline so far. He's been through a lot in this game, and I think he's had a pretty good storyline throughout from the start to the end. And I think Tristan should win because I think he did prove himself in this game. I think he proved that he isn't someone who just follows Daniel, and I think he's someone that he proved himself compared to his last season. So yeah.
Can you guys say why you shouldn't win? Like why your game wasn't good enough to win?
Why I shouldn't win? I'd say, unfortunately, I came in with 1 specific way I wanted to play, and it just didn't go the way I wanted it to. I think that goes for everybody though, but yeah, I just kind of I flopped in some areas and I made some decisions that I'm not proud of, but overall I still like at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be proud that I made it where I made it, but yeah.
I think I shouldn't win is because maybe I didn't play in the I didn't play in the spotlight that much. I feel like maybe I wasn't someone who pulled out really big moves. I feel like maybe I could have done better in that aspect and maybe better in the physical aspect, but um that's why I shouldn't win. Maybe also because I was voted out before, like I've been voted out already. And yeah.
If you want to vote someone who made massive moves and was a big threat throughout the whole game and did everything for the beneficial of other people, then I don't think then don't vote me to win because I didn't do that. So yeah.
All right, thank you, Griffin. Up next, we're gonna go to Bella.
Hey guys! First off, wanted to start off by saying congratulations on making it to Final 3. Wish I was there, even though I wouldn't have won, but like whatever. So I just want to say real quick, y'all all sound like you're defeated already. Even if you think you're defeated, just go in with confidence. Really, like, just explain your game and like own everything, every bit that you think you did. Because I don't want to hear you guys being sad or feeling beaten or like that someone else has already won. Like, prove to me that you are that bitch, even though like the jury could hate you or not hate you. Like, you know what I mean? And that goes for like all three of you. What I want to talk about more so though is pre-merge. We haven't really talked about it yet, and I just want to hear like more so like all of your like pre-merge game if you want to go like a little more in on it. So yeah, thanks. Anyone, if you could start.
I'll start, I guess. I already talked about the first tribal council, so I'm not going to talk about that again. So once we had swapped onto Zen Tribe, thankfully I had met up with some people that I did know, but I still. So I was just always preparing myself for the merge, or another tribe swap that I would have numbers going into whatever was going to be thrown at me, and I think I still did that successfully. Both on Zen and Swap Jose, I still had enough numbers when going into a merge, and it worked. And then eventually I knew that I was also not going to stick with those numbers the whole game, and I didn't. So I had numbers when I needed them, and yeah.
I think I'll talk about my connections in the pre-merge because I think the connections in the pre-merge that I made was what got me through the pre-merge. If we talk about the first swap, I went into the swap with someone who I voted twice and someone who was against me. I made sure that I really built the connection with Daniel so that we could work together. We talked every morning. We had a little joke with the light ice and extra biscuit. And in that pre-merge stage, I really did have a good bond with him. And I was going to him with information. He was going to me with information. At one point in the pre-merge, Jade made a massive lie about me, and I got through that part. I somehow survived that tribal council when my name was out there, and I was relying on all the connections that I made and how we could flip the vote onto someone else, where we made the split plan between Emma and Joshua, and then didn't go to Rocks. I also want to talk about when I swapped on the next swap, which was when I was with like Rod, Tia, Evan, and all those people. The swap before that, Daniel was already talking to me about how he wants to like go for Tia, and then when I land on this beach, Tia is telling me how she wants to go for Daniel, and I'm just like hearing all of these things. I'm getting all this information from both sides, and I'm like, okay, so how do I position myself? I made promises to Daniel saying that I was going to go after Tia, and I even made promises with Tia saying that I was going to go after Daniel. But on that swap tribe, everyone was saying that they wanted to go for Austin, and obviously me and Austin were close from the tribe before that, and I had to sacrifice Austin to benefit my game to get to the merge part. So I was getting information how they all wanted to get Austin out, and how I knew an idol was being played on Justin, and how I was able to connect with Justin, even though we have had massive beef from other seasons, I was able to connect with him on that tribe and get good with him, and hopefully he can trust me. And on the pre-merge in that tribe as well, I wanted to split up Jade and Justin, and everyone was more keen on getting rid of Jade. And I was throwing out the idea that Jade was a number for Daniel down the line, and she would vote with Daniel. So if you wanted to take a shot at Daniel, you should take a shot at Jade while we're there. So yeah, that's basically my pre-merge game, I guess.
Okay, hey Bella, hey. So my pre-merge game, going into the pre-merge, on my tribe, I was like put in the bottom because Daniel and Sophia were talking in the rock chat on the Pose tribe. I decided to join it, and then Evan decided to join after, and I feel like people saw us and thought we were in an alliance, which yeah, it happened, but there was one more option, so like someone could have joined in, but I had to work from the bottom on that tribe. And then once Dejan at the Simona vote off, we convinced Dejan to come to our side, and Simona went out. Um, Moving on the Julie vote off, I voted out Julie because I was least connected with her. I talked to David and I talked to Jordan the most, like out of, because I was with Grayson, I was with Tia, I was with Evan, I was with Dejan on that tribe. I was in the majority, so I like shifted back to majority, and I managed to talk to David and Jordan, so they wouldn't vote me. But Jordan ended up throwing a vote on me on the David vote off, which I didn't forget. But yeah, and then going into the Grayson vote off, I had told Daniel, I told Emily P, I had told Bella and Griffin that I would be down to vote off Grayson, that tribal, but they decided to do the plan and they didn't tell me. So at that point, I felt like I was on the bottom again. And good thing that I found the idol after that. So that put me in a good position again. And me and Sophia were definitely on the bottom. And then the Sophia vote off, I tried this plan to get Tristan out, and it didn't work out, which it should have worked out because he ended up sitting in the final three, and the people who didn't go with the plan are not in the final three. But after that, Griffin had told me that because it was going to be 5 people voting Sophia, and then they were going to throw a vote on me, and if an idol was played on Sophia, I would have gone home, but me and Sophia were going to do Bella, so it would like throw them off. But I told Griffin that I was going to play on Sophia, and that's where at that tribal my game went kind of down, so I had to play the idol, and I sadly idoled out Sophia. And at that point, I felt alone, and good thing the merge hit. But another thing is, going into the game, Daniel got me into playing Hunger Games Roblox, and I feel like that kind of helped with my social game. I feel like people saw me as someone who would be joking around and wouldn't be like taken seriously. So I wasn't really a target. So I kind of used that to my advantage because Roblox social game, hey. But yeah.
All right. Bella, do you feel good?
What the heck? I want to say it. Okay.
You're
Okay.
good.
Good luck, guys. Thanks for answering. Just remember to continue to really project and say everything. And even if you think we're going to yell at you for it, literally just say it and get yelled at because they're going to yell at you anyways. So, yeah.
And all right, guys, we're going to wait 1 second for Demi. He's going to go run and grab his charger. And before we get to Dejan will be up next. And we'll just wait for Demi to get back.
Drew, I have a question.
Of course you do. What's up?
How are you enjoying Final Tribal Council?
I will comment on that after Final Tribal Council.
Okay.
Thanks for asking me a question.
How many people still have questions?
Dejan Emily Pitch, who I feel like she's asleep, Jordan, and Evan. This will be the second time she's been
The
asleep.
stars.
All right.
I'm back here.
Demi is back. Dejan, if you want to go ahead and ask your questions, the floor is yours.
Yeah. I just want to say congratulations on making it there. I mean, I should be there. I should be sitting in one of those chairs, but you know what? God's work. But I just want to touch on something a little bit. We've all been through this reality nerd journey together, through different seasons, past seasons, whatever the case may be. Survivor, at its most fundamental level, is about getting to the final tribal council by any means, but then having to justify those means to those that have been voted out or rocked out, as myself. A finalist can win without being well-liked, but respect is a necessary component for any game. Unlike other strategic games, Survivor has a social component. The way a player interacts with their fellow competitors does matter. Survivor, on the other hand, requires you to be rewarded for some of your strategic actions and also social bonds you created. Survivor is about outwitting, outplaying, outlasting, and about growth. I want to know, what did you find out about yourself all throughout your reality noted journey that you believe helped you to explore and maneuver to this point in the game? Anybody can go first.
I'll go first. I think through the game, I learned a lot about myself. I definitely found out I was a bit more emotional than I thought I was. I definitely found out that a lot about myself, about how I can do things by myself. I don't have to rely on people so much. I can stand up for myself in situations, and I can get to the end when I'm looking out for myself and only myself. Whereas previous games, even in real life, where I'm always doing things for others and doing things for other people, I stood up for myself in many situations, and I got to the end playing for myself. And despite the game that everyone thinks that I played, I'm proud that I played that way that I played, and I'm proud that I got to the end out of 27 people going home. I'm proud that I'm able to learn some new things about myself and learn new things that I can play the game by myself. So yeah.
Something that I learned about myself is that I tend to doubt myself too much, and I don't have as much confidence in myself as a player as many others do going into a season. That's why I kind of debated even doing this season at first, because I was like, do I really want to put myself through that again? Like, do I even think I could do well? But I'm really glad that I did, because I'm sitting here right now. And going into this game, like going even into my last season, I wasn't even sure if I'd do well. But I know that once I really do believe in myself, that I really can do anything. Like, I obviously care about this game so much, because like obviously I would not be throwing up like literally for an immunity challenge that I didn't even win, by the way. But I felt very dedicated and I just believed in myself after that. And from now on, if I do play a game, or even outside of the game in my real life, no matter what I do, I just want to go into it believing in myself and believing that I can accomplish whatever it is.
I feel like I definitely got new friends in this game. Going into it, I didn't really know that many people. I definitely had outside bonds, but I feel like in this game, I created new friends that I'm walking out of this game with, and I'm happy that I've met. These are gonna be like long outside of the game bonds, and I had learned that you can take risks in the game, even if it's stressful at that moment. It could always help you out in the game and outside. So I definitely learned that meeting new people is a good thing, and that sometimes it's good to have a little faith in yourself, and yeah.
All right. Thank you, Dejan. That being said, Emily P is not here. I think she's asleep. So we will skip over her and we will go to Jordan. Jordan, the floor is yours.
So congrats on making the final three. Um, I don't really have a question. I mean, I kind of have a question, but I'm just gonna say, talk a little bit about me. Like, I want to know how much of like, just explain like your perception of me in the game. Like, how much did I say to you that you ran to other people? Were there ever moments where you pitched me going home to other people other than when I went home? Like, just talk about me a little bit.
Okay, I'll go then. Jordan, you were someone who I was planning on taking to the end at one point. I definitely think that you played quite well, and I think you especially were a determined factor in quite a few of the merge votes where your vote really mattered and your vote really ended up being the one that went home. Like when Bella went home and when you voted Dejan and then Dejan ended up getting rocked out, and like the moments in the game where you, and even your advantage play where you brought and you said that you were a player to be reckoned with, and I definitely think that you could have won at the end. A reason why, I guess, like when you went home, the way that you went home, I felt bad because you saved me with your advantage in whatever final 9, but at the end of the day I was thinking it was I've got information that you were voting me out, and I was like, okay, I have to flip it and I have to try and work out a plan to potentially get you out. And I think you were a jury threat if I was sitting next to you. So I definitely think that's my perception on your game. I definitely think you're played quite well.
I'll go next. Jordan, coming into this season, you were one of the people that I had played with previously, and you had made it to the end. I knew that you were capable of doing that again, but we never linked up until merged, and by that point, I feel like we had already had different alliances. Maybe sometimes we did vote together, but we never did talk one-on-one, which I would say was kind of my fault. But I would say that my perception of you prior to this game was wrong because you did surprise me a lot in this game to the point where I wanted to vote you out, which I never thought I would want to actually vote you out. But I did because you actually surprised me. You played a successful idle play, and you actually did make moves that benefited yourself. And when it came to the advantage, that was a whole another thing on its own that just like totally changed the game. And yeah, you had really impressed me, and I felt that had you made it to the end, you actually had a really good chance at winning. So yeah, that was you. My perception of you did change a lot throughout this game.
Jordan. So pre-merge, we were on the same tribe at one point. We talked, but we weren't as close. And then once I got voted out, when I came back in the game, I felt like I came to talk to you like full on, like I was actually trying to talk to you. And I feel like I got to meet you in a better way. And there was definitely times where you made me laugh in the two-person in the right spot. And there was also times where you definitely played a really good game, especially watching from Edge. Going onto Edge, I didn't really see how you played the game, but seeing that reversal advantage that you played, I think you played it really well in the perfect time. And those idle plays, I think you played a really good game. And at one point, I did want to take you to final 3 with me, but then I realized how good of a game you were gonna play, and I realized that you were gonna beat me. So I decided to vote you out, and it sucked voting you out, but like once again, I wanted to get to the final 3, and you definitely saved me a lot of times in this game. When you voted Dejan and it tied, when you voted Bella, I feel like those are moves that you did, and I congratulate you on that.
Demi, that I'm saying.
All right. Thank you, Jordan. And since Emily P is not here, I think all that we have left is Evan. So, Evan, if you would like to go ahead, the floor is yours.
All right. I would congratulate you all on final 3, but I don't think it's right to congratulate bad gameplay. So I'm just gonna get right into the questions. I'm not gonna be too harsh on him like everyone else, but my first question is for Ned. Ned, throughout this game, I think I saw you make more mistakes than you did moves to help your game. So if you can you like please list out all the mistakes you've made this season?
I think a few mistakes that I did make was should have read out Dejon when I read out Daniel and flip people. I think that was one thing that I definitely think, looking back at it now, if we got rid of Dejon then and went for Daniel next, it would have been smarter. But I decided to try and do something for myself. Another mistake that I feel like happened was playing my idol. When I played my idol, I wanted to play my idol because Simona was my partner and I wanted her to be safe, but I had a gut feeling that I wasn't getting majority of votes and I wanted, to keep my idol for future, but I just played my idol and I feel like that was a mistake on my part. Another part of a mistake that I feel like I made was I guess I should have pushed Simona to keep her extra vote. I really felt like she needed to keep her extra vote for the further down the line, and I really wish I pushed for her to keep her extra vote more than instead of her playing it when she played it. Another mistake that I feel like I made was potentially being a little too vocal at tribal councils and I guess calling too many people out and going chaotic at the final, whenever it was, when I played my legacy advantage. I think there are a few mistakes that I made that I definitely admit to. I could have gone in a better way.
Okay. My next question is for Tristan. It was kind of answered, but like I'm still gonna ask it. Tristan, we didn't really get to talk that much. We were never on. I think you were the only person I was never on a try pre-merge with. And even when we made merge together, we didn't really talk until like a couple votes during merge in. But when I did talk to you, it didn't really seem like you were engaged or I don't want to say you didn't really care about this game because I feel like you did, and you answered it with the you threw up for an immunity challenge that you didn't end up winning. But I kind of want you to explain why I'm wrong that you weren't engaged or why you did care about this game.
I know that it's gonna seem that at times I wasn't engaged, and to be honest, sometimes my eyes were more focused on real life at times because sometimes life does get in the way, but that's no excuse. Still, I felt that by that point, so far into the merge, so much of the game had already happened, and I felt this game, I think, stresses me out more than any other game that I've really been in, and just the conversations, the Discord, everything about it is just gonna drive you insane. And sometimes I felt as though I needed those breaks and those break days and everything, and that's why I constantly would ask for them. But I always was dedicated to this game. I definitely did care. Like if I didn't care, I wouldn't have tried as hard as I did. And I know some people think that I may not have tried that hard and that I let other people overplay me, but that's just not true. Like I really did want this really badly and to make it here, and I'm still proud. Like I feel like it's all in the hands of you guys now at this point. No matter who you vote, it's fine. Like I respect everybody, and I'm just so proud to have been in this season and to have played as hard as I did, regardless of what people think. I really don't care. Like I think I did good, and I hope that you guys can respect that. So, yeah.
All right. And Demi, I'm just gonna start off because Simona, I didn't get to ask you this, but where did you rank Simona during like the edge thing? Demi?
Sorry, I was like on mute. But I ranked her third.
Okay. And Demi, I just want to congratulate you personally, because I think I can speak for you. I was one of the people who really worked with you very closely. I got to see a different side of you that I don't think anyone has ever seen before. Especially being, I'm just gonna say this because I think it is true. with your age, being in a fandom full of 16 to 25-year-olds, I think you definitely got some questionable faces of being an all-star or being a game player. But working with you was definitely a pleasure because I did get to see a very strategical side of you, Demi, that I don't think anyone here has ever seen, especially not even in the game, but in the fandom in general. So I just really want to congratulate you on that, making it this far in this game. But Demi, my question to you is, you were voted out third juror. You should have been third juror. So why should I vote for you over Ned and Tristan, who were never voted out this season?
Thanks for the compliment, but I think that you should vote over you should vote me over Ned and Tristan because I feel like I wasn't someone who was constantly in majority. I wasn't someone who like put themselves on the bottom. I feel like I was put there because of other alliances that I wasn't a part of that I like didn't like, especially before I was voted out. I don't think I like did that good getting connections, but coming back into the game, I knew I had to do more to make it to the end. And that's why I stuck out to people. I started talking to more people, and that's why I feel like I made it as far as I can. And at final six, I started to realize that I could make it to the end. I just had to take the perfect people there with me. I knew that Emily P, she was winning. I knew that you were definitely winning. And then I realized that Jordan was going to beat me. So I took Ned and Tristan to the end with me because I feel like I had a better chance of winning the game if I was sitting with them. I feel like I definitely played a social game. I had two successful idol plays. Keep in mind, previous 2 seasons, I couldn't even get an idol. And I feel like coming back from the edge, it showed that I was determined to win. And I think that helped me out with my social game because I knew stuff from the edge. Like I knew that people on the edge hated Ned's game. And then people on the edge knew that Tristan was Daniel Sheep. That's what they thought. So I knew coming in, I had some information, and I think I used it to my advantage. And that's why I'm sitting here with Ned and Tristan.
All right. Thank you, and good luck to all of you.
All right, guys, really quickly. I'm going to once again stop this recording. I know we don't have much left.